All right, so I'm going to go over the mid-unit 6 assessment, and so far what I've seen, everybody's doing pretty well on that. So the first one we have here is number 1. Which scatterplot does not suggest a linear relationship between x and y? So looking at this, this is not, so we should not expect to see some sort of line drawn through the data. So that's got a line, forms a line, forms a line. C is a curve. This is the correct one you should choose for not a linear relationship. All right, number 2, which scatterplot does not suggest a linear relationship between x and y? Again, D, we've got a line there with our data. C, a line. B, a line. And here we've got a curve in our data. So A is the correct one here. Number 3, which scatterplot suggests a linear relationship between x and y? So now we're looking for one that does create a line when we look for a trend. Here I have a curve. Here's a line. Here we have another curve. Nice curve there. B is the only one that the data forms a line. Number 4, Mrs. Garth made a scatterplot to show the relationship between the number of absences a student in her class has and the student's final exam score. What conclusion is best supported by the scatterplot? So here are our grades, and they're going up in value from 0 to 100. When you see this on a graph, this just means there was no data between 0 and 50. So they have just shrunk this down to make the graph easier to read and give a more accurate scatter plot here. So the data is going up here. Our exam score is up to 100. And here our absences are going up from 0 to 10. And that's going up by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So as my absences increase, we're watching those scores go down. So the first one says, as the number of absences decreases, so we're going this way, the student's exam scores decrease. No, as I'm going down, my scores are going up. Next one says, as the number of absences increases, the student's exam scores increase. Well, no, as my absences go up, my exam scores are going down. As the number of absences increase, the student's exam scores decrease. So here, our absences are going up, and we're watching those go down. That is correct. And then the last one says there is no relationship between the number of absences and the student's exam score. So you would expect to see just data all over here, where this is following a nice trend down. And what you will see here is this is a negative linear association here. Number 5, which scatterplot suggests a linear relationship between x and y? Again, we're looking for a line with our data. Here is one with no association. Here I have a curve. Here is my linear association. Let's C is the one I picked. And then another curve here. So C is the only one that has a linear relationship between x and y. Number 6, Andrew made 25 international long-distance phone calls to China last month. The scatterplot below shows the length and cost of each phone call he made. Which conclusion is best supported by the scatterplot? So I don't see any curves formed by the data. I don't see any lines formed by the data. So let's look and see what our options are here. As the length of the call increases, the cost of the call increases. We can't determine that. As the length of the call increases, sorry about that. As the length of the call increases, the cost of the call remains the same. So no, call increase, and so that you would see just a straight flat line. Next one, as the length of the call increases, the cost of the call decreases. Nope, we don't see that happening. And then here, there is no relationship between the length of the call and the cost of the call. We have no association. That is the correct answer choice there. Last one, number 7. The daily attendance at a bowling alley was recorded for 15 days. The scatterplot shows the number of lanes rented each day and the number of people who bowled that day. Which statement is best supported by the scatterplot? So I've already looked here and I've found that I have a linear relationship and it is going up. So my first option says there is a nonlinear association. Well, I don't have nonlinear. This is a line. So that's not true. Next one says there is a negative association. There we would be seeing our line go down and a negative slope, which is not true. There is no apparent association between the number of lanes rented and the number of people who bowl. Again, that data would be all over the place and we're not seeing that. The last option is there is a positive association between the number of lanes rented and the number of people who bowl, which makes sense. If you've got more lanes being rented, you're going to see more people bowling. So that was the correct answer for this one. I hope you did well on this. We've only got, I'm going to go over trend lines and making predictions, and then we'll have our test next week. Have a great day.